Few figures in history loom as large as Charlemagne, the Frankish king whose reign from 768 to 814 AD shaped Europe and laid the foundation for the modern Western world. Known as the Father of Europe, his administrative genius and commitment to cultural and religious reform earned him a legacy that still endures more than a millennium later. His life was a testament to the transformative power of leadership as well as the complexities and challenges of empire building. Born in 742 AD, Charlemagne inherited a divided Frankish kingdom. Upon the death of his father, having the sword, sharing power initially with his brother, Charlemagne, Charlemagne emerged as the sole ruler in 771 AD after the convenient death of his brother. Yet, what Charlemagne inherited, he transformed into the Frankish Empire, one of the most powerful empires of the early medieval period. Relentless military campaign followed, which expanded Frankish control over vast territories, including modern-day France, Germany, Italy, and even parts of Eastern Europe. However, not everything was easy. The Saxons, a pagan tribe in the northeast of Charlemagne's kingdom, represented one of his greatest military challenges. After over 3 decades of warfare, Charlemagne sought to bring the Saxons under Frankish control and impose Christianity on their land. The conflict reached a turning point during the infamous Massacre of Verdun, where Charlemagne ordered the execution of thousands of Saxon prisoners. This act effectively broke Saxon resistance. The region was now fully integrated into the Frankish Empire, ensuring the stability along its northeastern frontier. Charlemagne ordered the destruction of Irminsul, which was a sacred tree in Germanic paganism, ensuring a total Christian victory. The next challenge of his reign came in the form of the conquest of the Lombards in northern Italy, marking a critical early campaign in Charlemagne's reign. Responding to a call for help from Pope Adrian I, Charlemagne led his forces across the Alps, as Hannibal once did, and laid siege to Pavia, the Lombard capital. The Lombard king, Desiderius, had no other choice than to surrender for the good of his people, leaving Charlemagne to assume the title of King of the Lombards. This victory not only expanded his empire and riches, but also cemented his role as protector of the papacy, strengthening the alliance between the Frankish crown and the Catholic Church, an event that will lead to a very important event in European history. On Christmas Day in the year 800 AD, in the Grand View of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, Pope Leo III placed a golden crown upon Charlemagne's head and proclaimed him Imperator Romanorum. The moment was nothing short of transformative, reviving an imperial title that had lain dormant in the West for over 3 centuries. To the gathered crowd, it was more than a coronation. It was a merging of the 3 great traditions, the legal and institutional legacy of Rome, the spiritual authority of Christianity, and the martial vigor of the Germanic tribes. By crowning Charlemagne, Pope Leo III reaffirmed the Church's authority as the divine arbiter of earthly power. It was a signal to the world that even kings and emperors derived their legitimacy from God through the Church. For Charlemagne, the divine endorsement bolstered his claim to rule, not just as a Frankish king, but as the sovereign of a Christian empire. The fusion of political and spiritual authority elevated Charlemagne's position beyond mere kingship, setting him apart as a figure ordained by God to shepherd Christendom. In return, the Church gained a staunch defender who expanded its reach through military campaigns and cultural reforms. Charlemagne's reign saw the construction of grand cathedrals, the establishment of monasteries, and the revival of learning under the ecclesiastical patronage. Monks, under his direction, copied ancient texts and preserved the wisdom of antiquity, a legacy that will shape Europe for centuries. The alliance between Charlemagne and the Catholic Church was a divine partnership forged in the fires of ambition and faith. It was a union that transformed the political and spiritual landscape of medieval Europe, establishing a model of governance that will endure for centuries. Through his strategic and unwavering vision, Charlemagne set the foundation that will later become the Holy Roman Empire. After his coronation, Charlemagne set his sights on a bold ambition to have his imperial title recognized by Constantinople, the seat of the Eastern Roman Empire. The year was 802, and the air between the Franks and the Byzantines was thick with political intrigue. Delegations moved back and forth between Charlemagne and the Byzantine Empress Irene, a formidable ruler in her own right. According to the chronicle Theophanes, Charlemagne proposed a union through marriage, daring offer that would have united East and West under one empire. Irene, drawn to the prospect, nearly accepted, but fate had other plans. Irene was ousted in a coup and replaced by Nicephorus I, a ruler less inclined to compromise. Tensions flare as the two empires fight for dominance over the Adriatic Sea. Charlemagne, wary of prolonged conflict but determined to solidify his legacy, sent envoys to Constantinople, during an early branch of peace. Yet, destiny intervened again. Nicephorus fell in battle before the envoys even arrived. His successor, Michael I, sought stability and sent his own emissaries to Aachen, finally acknowledging Charlemagne's imperial status. With this recognition, Charlemagne's vision of a renewed Western Empire was complete. He wasted no time in stamping his authority onto history, issuing the first Frankish coin bearing his imperial title. They were, more than a currency, they were symbols of his triumph, a legacy forged in diplomacy, war, and unyielding ambition, standing as proof that the ruler of the Franks had ascended to a stage once reserved only for Caesars. Charlemagne is often remembered for his military conquests, yet his administrative reforms were equally or more important. He established a system of governance that balanced centralized control with regional autonomy. Local counts and bishops acted as his representatives, while royal envoys ensured that his directives were implemented throughout the empire. One of Charlemagne's most enduring contributions was his legal reforms. He codified laws across the empire, blending Frankish traditions with Roman legal principles. These reforms not only streamlined governance, but also promoted a sense of justice and order that helped stabilize his vast and diverse territories. Charlemagne's reign also ushered an intellectual and cultural revival known as the Carolingian Renaissance. Recognizing the importance of education and literacy for governance and religion, he championed reforms that revitalized learning across his empire. Monasteries became the centers of scholarship, producing and preserving countless manuscripts that might have been otherwise lost to history. Charlemagne invited scholars such as Alcuin of York to his court, where they developed an standardized curriculum based on classical texts. The intellectual revival not only advanced education, but also influenced the development of Latin script, giving rise to Carolingian minuscule, a clear and legible writing style that became the foundation for modern European handwriting. Charlemagne's death in 814 marked the end of an era. His empire divided among his sons, eventually fragmented under the pressures of external invasions and internal discord. Yet, his vision of a unified Europe left a profound legacy. The Holy Roman Empire, which emerged centuries later, drew inspiration from his achievements, and the idea of a unified Christendom continued to influence European politics and culture for generations. Charlemagne's life and rule embodied the paradoxes of leadership, a warrior and a reformer, a unifier and a conqueror. His relentless military campaigns from the Saxon Wars to the conquest of Lombardy demonstrated his ability to transform the battlefield into a foundation for empire building. More than a king or an emperor, Charlemagne was an architect of history, whose legacy continues to resonate in the ideals of governance and cultural flourishing. In an era of division and uncertainty, he stands as a symbol of what is possible when leadership is driven by vision, ambition, and a relentless pursuit of progress.